Chairman, to honor our Joint Secretary Ports, Sri Muruganandam, by presenting a shawl and a bouquet. Thank you, sir. May I now heartily request Chairman, Kanla Port Trust, in whom we see our esteemed future and who is the pillar of our strength and progress, to share with us some details of this milestone. Dr. P.D. Waghela.
Honorable Minister Thiru G.K. Vasanji, Honorable Secretary Dr. Vishwapati Trivedi ji, Joint Secretary Shipping, Joint Secretary Ports, Chairman National Shipping Board, Director General of Shipping, Chairman of IWAI, Chairman of all major ports, Trustees of Kandla Port, officials of the Ministries of Shipping, Kandla Port and other organizations, all dignitaries, businessmen and industrialists who are settled in Bangalore and who are from Kutch and who has come here, Ushaben, Kirtibhai Shah, and all other dignitaries. I warmly welcome all to this very important event in which Kandla Port is dedicating 2 projects to the nation, and also as many as 6 agreements are being signed. We will add 4 million metric tons capacity to the port today. Concession agreement will create another 13.4 million metric ton capacity. Actually, in this concession agreement, 2 agreements with 5 million metric tons are already implemented. I would take this opportunity to greatly and gratefully welcome and thank our Honorable Minister for his unstinted support and guidance in taking up these projects. It is his continuous reminder about competition nearby and his guidance that we have thought of going for innovative projects. These projects, though low cost, have high cargo handling capacity. I thank Honorable Minister for readily agreeing to dedicate these 2 projects to the nation, along with gracing the ceremony of signing of concession agreement. I also welcome Honorable Secretary Shipping, who kindly agreed to grace this occasion. His continuous guidance and encouragement helped us in finalizing these concession agreements at a very, very fast rate and going for new PPP projects, especially mega container terminal projects of rupees 6,000 crores, which is coming up at Tuna Tekra, a satellite port of Kandla Port. I welcome Joint Secretary Shipping, who kindly agreed to grace this occasion. I sincerely thank Joint Secretary Ports for his support and who actually helped us in shaping up 2 projects, floating cranes and mobile harbor cranes, because these 2 projects were different in its tenure. Without his involvement, these projects would not have seen the day of the light. I extend a warm welcome to my colleagues, port chairman, officials and officials of the ministry and all dignitaries present. Last but not least, my warm welcome to the media and press, who have always covered news of growth and progress of Kandla Port in encouraging and motivating manner. We at Kandla Port, despite fierce competition of private ports, adversities and limitation of draft, under leadership of Honorable Minister, have performed rather well in the field of cargo handling, infrastructure development through PPP, and modernization and mechanization of Kandla Port. A small multimedia presentation follows to celebrate this success with special focus on concept of floating crane and transloading. Again, welcome to all. Thank you.
Our concessionaires
The Kandla port is the biggest major port of India. Developed as an alternative to the Karachi port post-independence, the Kandla port has played an important role not only in the development of India and Gujarat, but also the vast arid region of Kutch that is today a thriving hub for industries. One of the most economical ports of India, this multi-cargo port is also the gateway to major regions of the country. The port is also home to the Kandla Special Economic Zone, India's first special economic zone encompassing 1,000 acres with 142 functional units within 9 kilometers of the port. However, growing competition from private ports in the vicinity was gradually threatening its business. The Kandla port has a draft of only 12.5 meters, limiting its capability to handle large Cape-sized vessels. The freight of Cape-sized vessel was almost $9 per metric ton cheaper than a Supramax vessel, a disadvantage that was fast eroding Kandla port's position as a preferred port. Not the one to be cowed down by challenges, the authorities and users of the Kandla port came up with a breakthrough solution to handle Cape-sized vessels at anchorage in deep water using floating cranes and barges based on the Chinese experience. Kandla Port created history on April 30, 2013 with the arrival of its first Cape-sized vessel, Coppersmith, carrying 137,537 metric tons of coal from South Africa with arrival draft of 17.5 meters, which was completely unloaded within 10 days. It was discharged at high sea using 24 barges and 2 floating, pollution-free and leak-proof cranes. The barges carrying the coal were then emptied on shore by 7 Liber bulk cargo handling machines. Within a short span, the port has handled more than 1.2 million metric tons of bulk cargo through 8 Cape-sized vessels and 2 Panamax vessels. Even with the additional handling cost, there is still a saving of $7 to $8 per metric ton compared to the freight of a Supramax, making this initiative a viable business proposition, resulting in reduction of freight, saving of foreign exchange and lowering of costs. Additionally, the Kandla port has operationalized 4 mobile harbour cranes through open competition and revenue-sharing basis, hence augmenting its cargo handling capacity and evacuation speed. These 2 projects together have added 10 million metric tons of handling capacity at the port. Buoyed by the success of its maiden initiative, the Kandla port has already planned to increase its handling capacity by adding more floating cranes and harbour mobile cranes and constructing additional storage areas and godowns with a capacity to handle additional 10 million metric tons cargo during the next year. Moreover, it has also partnered to start an IMU campus, VTMS and Kutch Railway Company. Today, Kandla, the liquid cargo hub of India, is also set to sign a concession agreement with IMC for an additional 3.4 million metric tons per annum handling capacity. It is also proud to dedicate the IFCO captive jetty and IMC multipurpose berth capable of handling 4 million metric tons per annum to the nation. Taking a giant leap forward, the Kandla port has already initiated the development of a satellite port at Tuna Tekra with a capacity of 14 million metric tons per annum, which will be commissioned in a record-breaking time of just 2 years in December 2014. It has also floated global tender for a mega container terminal with capacity of 66 million metric tons per annum at the Tuna port. The various modernization initiatives in the past 5 years have enabled the Kandla port to achieve notable milestones. The cargo handled at the port has increased by almost 30 million metric tons from 65 million metric tons to 95 million metric tons. The total cargo handling capacity has been augmented by 37 million metric tons from 80 million metric tons to 117 million metric tons and is expected to be 3 times this capacity by the year 2020. The number of vessels handled at the port has increased by 217 from 2,517 to 2,734. The port has also won several accolades, some of which include the Major Port of the Year award at prestigious Maritime and Logistic Awards continuously since 2010. Samudramanthan Award for the Best Major Port in 2009 and 2011. Best Port of the World Award from the General Secretary, International Maritime Organization for the Welfare of the Seafarers in 2012. The biggest major port of India is all set to chart a new and innovative chapter of converting the draft limitations into achievements in its glorious history. Kandla Port Trust, converting adversities into opportunities.
Our concessionaires have come forward with a request to honor the Honorable Minister. Hence, I now request them to kindly come on to the dais and honor Thiruvasan, please. Shri A.M. Rao, MD, IMC Limited. Shri M.R. Patel, CEO, IFCO, Kisan Bazar and Logistics Limited. Shri M.R. Patel from IFCO, Kisan Bazar and Logistics Limited. Shri Ramesh Bhai Singhvi of A.V. Joshi and Company. Shri Dharmesh Gandhi, Director, Messrs. Aditya Marine Limited. From Messrs. Aditya Marine Limited. Shri Naresh Bhai Bhulchandani, Director, Messrs. Balaji Heavy Lifters Private Limited. Shri Bhagwan Mansukhani, CEO from Rishi Shipping. Shri Ravindra Banthia, Group President from Messrs. Frost International Limited. Thank you, sir. May I now request Shri A.M. Rao, MD IMC Limited, to address the gathering.
Thiru G.K. Vasanji, Honorable Minister of Shipping, Dr. Vishwapati Trivedi ji, Secretary Ministry of Shipping, Shri P.D. Waghela, Chairman Kandla Port Trust, Mr. Muruganandam, Joint Secretary Ports,